Hello everyone, and welcome to this video where I explain how to scan for and detect Citrix CVE-2019-19781 using OWASP Nettacker. My name is Sam Stepanyan. I'm an application security consultant. I'm also an OWASP London chapter leader, and my Twitter handle is SecureStep9. So let me introduce OWASP Nettacker to you. What is OWASP Nettacker? OWASP Nettacker is a relatively new OWASP project. Just like all OWASP projects, it is an open source software. Nettacker is written in Python, and it is not officially released yet. It is still in development. So OWASP Nettacker's purpose is to be the Swiss Army knife for information gathering and vulnerability scanning. So just like a Swiss Army knife, it is a tool consisting of many tools. So it has a modular structure and fast performance. It is multi-threading. It has customizable profiles, which are bundles of modules focused on specific tasks. It also has a command line interface, so it's very useful to automate various tasks by running it from command line. It also has a web UI, API, report generator, Maltego transforms, and it has 63 modules. So what can it be used for? It can be used for assisting with penetration testing, bug bounty hunting, but it can also be used inside your enterprise network. It can help you with your network asset discovery. It can also help you to test for default credentials on your network, so it can brute force various devices and check if you left that admin username password on. It can also integrate with many other tools using JSON output, and you can also write your own modules profiles. So the homepage of OWASP Nettacker on OWASP is owasp.org index.php OWASP Nettacker. If you visit that page, the most useful link you will find on it is probably the GitHub repository, which is github.com/zdresearch. The OWASP Nettacker documentation is located in the wiki on GitHub, so the full URL is shown on the screen now. And the wiki contains installation requirements, instructions, usage, and examples, and also some videos and presentations from other events where Nettacker was presented. So, how do you download Nettacker? You can simply git clone it from GitHub using git clone command. And it is actually relatively small. The current version is only about 5 megabytes in size, so it should download relatively quickly. So in this video, I will be installing OWASP Nettacker on Kali Linux. So here are the prerequisites. So make sure you have Python installed. Our recommended version is 2.7 or Python 3.6. Then we will download Nettacker using git clone. Then we will install dependencies using requirements.txt file, and then we will install the Nettacker package. So, because it's written in Python, Nettacker can run on Windows, Linux, and Mac OS. It is compatible with both Python 2 and Python 3. And in this particular video, I'm going to show you how to install it on Kali Linux. So I'm going to switch to my Kali Linux VM now. We're going to enter the password. And as you can see, this is my Kali Linux, which at the moment does not have Nettacker installed. This is a pretty much vanilla installation of Kali Linux version 2019.2. So, what do we need to download Nettacker? I will need to git clone it. So I'm going to type git clone https github.com/zdresearch. Okay, so let's clone the project. As you can see, it's now being downloaded. There you go, 5.8 megabytes. And now I should have in my Kali Linux a folder called OWASP Nettacker. So I'm going to cd into that folder. And as you can see in this folder, we have requirements.txt file, which is the Python dependencies needed for Nettacker to run. So I'm just going to install them using pip. So I'm going to do pip install -r requirements.txt. So this command will now check and download and install all the requirements which are needed by Nettacker. Again, the list of requirements is slightly different between Python 2 and Python 3 because the default version of Python on Kali is Python 2. This is currently installing all the packages required for Python 2. So what we can do next is, let's first check if it's installed. It's not installed, so if I type Nettacker, nothing's going to happen. So I'm going to run Python setup.py and install. So what this command is going to do is actually going to install Nettacker as a package. Okay, looks like it's done. So I can now run Nettacker like this, just from the command line, which is very useful. And I can also run it using Python nettacker.py, which is my preferred method of working with Nettacker. So now that Nettacker is installed, as you have seen, if we call it without any parameters, it produces the usage instructions. As you can see, there's a lot of options in here. So the basic usage of OWASP Nettacker is that you have to provide 2 command line switches as a minimum. It's -i to specify the target and -m to specify the method or module. Which module would you like to use? So for example, if you wanted to use Nettacker as a replacement for Nmap and you would like to use it to perform a port scan, you would specify Nettacker-i, and then you will provide the IP address, and then you will specify port scan as the module. Nettacker can also use a range of IP addresses as a target. So in this case, you can just specify the CIDR subnet, in this case /24. What you can also do is that OWASP Nettacker actually supports several other ways of specifying targets. So your target can be a single IP address. The target can be a range of IP addresses defined using a dash for a beginning and ending IP address. You can also specify CIDR location and provide the /subnet. You can also provide a domain name like owasp.org, for example, and you can also specify the specific URL, including the protocol, for example, http owasp.org or https owasp.org. So as I mentioned before, OWASP Nettacker comes with lots of modules. So these are the scan modules. As you can see, there are quite a lot of them. And as you can see some examples, there's a scan to, let's say, detect versions of content management system, detect versions of Drupal, detect versions of Joomla, perform ICMP scan, perform PHPMyAdmin scan. Port scan is probably one of the most popular modules, but you can also do things like find subdomains and also scan for WordPress versions. So here are the OWASP Nettacker's vulnerability scanning modules. So these are the ones which are looking for vulnerability rather than for information gathering. And you can see there are actually quite a few of them. So the one that we're interested in today is this one, which is Citrix CVE-2019-19781 vulnerability. These are the OWASP Nettacker's brute forcing modules. As you can see, it can perform FTP, HTTP brute forcing, as well as SMTP, SSH, Telnet, and also WordPress XML RPC brute forcing attacks. So before we proceed any further to the actual demo of the tool, would like to emphasize that you shall not misuse this tool nor any other security tool for unauthorized access. that performing security scans without written permission from the owner of the computer system is illegal, and you should always remember to use security tools responsibly. So, what are we going to do today? We're going to scan for Citrix CVE-2019-19781, which is the module named like this. So that is the module that we will need, and this is how we're going to run Nettacker. We can run it to detect the vulnerability. We can run Nettacker against a single IP address. Then we're going to detect if Citrix is installed there and whether there is a CVE, whether that vulnerability is present. We also can run Nettacker using the fully qualified domain name of the Citrix device if we know what that is, so that can be specified. But we can also scan for the whole IP range, so this is quite useful, for example, for either bug bounty purposes or for your network asset discovery, because as I've discovered, many of my customers who actually have Citrix devices in their network have no idea what their IP addresses are, what their names are, whereabouts are they on the network. This is why OWASP Nettacker can be quite a useful tool to assist with that particular task. And there is one more way of running the scan using Nettacker. When you specify the targets in a text file, in this case, for example, our text file is called list.txt, and what you do then, you change the -i command line switch for a target to -l to indicate that you actually want the list, not the command line parameters to be used. So let's switch back to Kali Linux and have a look at the demo. Okay, let me log back into Kali Linux. Here we are. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to run Nettacker. Need to make sure that I am in the right folder. I am in the right folder, in OWASP Nettacker folder. So if I type Python nettacker.py, and then I provide a target, and I want to provide a list, and this is my list, and then I will we're gonna launch 50 and 100. Okay, as you can see, that says Citrix appliance detected. And here are the two devices which are found to be vulnerable. Okay, so this is the end of the Nettacker demo. If you found vulnerable devices in your network, you need to mitigate the vulnerability using the mitigation workaround provided by Citrix in this support article, which is CTX 267027. You can see the URL on the screen. While this is not a full patch, this is a policy which can be applied to stop exploitation of the vulnerability. If you would like to learn more about OWASP Nettacker, about the other modules and features of this great tool, you can find the documentation on the Nettacker wiki, which is available on this URL, github.com/research OWASP Nettacker/wiki. Once you navigate there, you will be able to navigate through various chapters of the manual using the links in the menu on the right. So thank you very much for watching. Please follow me on Twitter @SecureStep9. Thank you.